Oh, hello, it's your boy Gomi, and we have some very important news to go over today. As I'm sure all of you are aware, UFC 287, through Dana's little announcement, basically the whole card got confirmed by his own mouth. Now, perhaps it's a little bit too early considering it's in April 8th for this card, but hopefully none of the fights fall through, because this is now the word stacked gets thrown around a lot, specifically by Dana White. But oh god, this is possibly one of the most stacked cards I've ever heard about in my entire life. And a lot of people were saying, oh man, it's weird that he did this whole announcement thing for it. Well, it makes sense because you have the number one most famous fighter besides Conor McGregor, and the number two most famous fighter besides Conor McGregor, which is going to be Israel Adesanya and Jorge Masvidal. So let's look at this card. First off, let's start off with one of the fights that got announced on the card already. It was really interesting, which is Kelvin Gastelum versus Chris Curtis. That's a good fight. That is a good middleweight fight, especially since Kelvin Gastelum just fell out of his fight against Imamov and Strickland Stukin. Well, I'd much rather see Gastelum versus Curtis. Then let's go out for the fights announced by Dana White himself. Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Pyfer. Joe Pyfer, one of the biggest sort of prospects of the sport, is going to be on there. He was really good in the Contender Series, and he's a heck of a fighter. I'd say basically it's between him, Raul Rosas Jr., and honestly Bo Nicol for the biggest up and coming prospects, and also Jack Della Maddalena. Then Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez is on the card. That's going to be a super stacked fight. I love that fight right there. That's going to be a good one. Then Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. Raul Rosas Jr., like I said, another one of the up-and-comers, one of the most famous up-and-comers, the youngest fighter in the UFC. And while I wasn't super keen on him after seeing him in the Contender Series, mainly due to his attitude, he was an absolute monster in his debut. He absolutely dominated. I can't even remember who he was fighting, to be honest with you, because he dominated him so easily. Another very popular fighter in the sport, Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Santiago Ponzinibbio, he's hit or miss in terms of excitement factor, and he's not a super amazing fighter. And same thing with Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland is never hit or miss in terms of excitement. He is always an exciting fight. He will do his best to make it exciting, but man, they gave him a pretty good striker in Santiago Ponzinibbio, and not a wrestler, more so just a guy who likes to knock out people out. Kevin Holland, we all know how good Kevin Holland is, especially if you give him someone who's down. Like his fight against Wonder Boy is one of the best fights of the year. Oh man, him versus Santiago is going to be an insane fight. Then we get to the co-main event. Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal. Gilbert Burns, a beast, game to fight everyone, and he deserves the payday. That's what I'll say about this. He deserves a payday because he's going to get a hefty payday for this. Now, though, is he fight? Because, that's the thing. When you're really looking at it, too, who he's fighting, Jorge Masvidal, he just beat number 12, Neil Magny. So you thought, oh, he's going to have a massive step up in competition. He's going to fight someone of a higher rank than him. Like, say, oh, I don't know, Bilal Muhammad, who's literally right above him. No, he just beat number 12, so he's going to now fight number 11. I get it. More people want to see it. Number 11, Jorge Masvidal, is a much more famous fighter. More people are going to tune in to see that rather than Bilal Muhammad, but I don't know, man. I just don't like it. I don't like it. Regardless, it should still be a good fight, though. It should still be a good fight, but I'm leaning heavily towards Burns. From what we've seen from Jorge Masvidal, he's going to get submitted round one. People are saying, oh, Masvidal can make this competitive. He could do this. He could do that. Neil Magny, I think, is a better fighter than Jorge Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal is a way better striker than Neil Magny, but Neil Magny is much more well-rounded. I feel we're just going to see Burns just take him down and submit him. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. We saw how he got absolutely dominated by Colby Covington. Colby Covington does not really have a good submission game. Guess who has a good ground game and an amazing submission game? Gilbert Burns. Regardless, excitement. And I hope Like, honestly, as long as he wins, Burns is just gonna up his excitement factor. More people are gonna tune in to watch him, and he deserves it because he's the true BMF. Put the BMF belt on the line. Hold up. This is a co-main event. Dana White said this was a co-main event, so we should put the BMF belt on the line. That should be it. This is the pay-per-view. It is the World Middleweight Championship and the World BMF Championship. Put that belt on the line, Dana. And then next, we're going to be having the rematch, the fourth fight between Alex Poatan Periera, the World Middleweight Champion, versus his nemesis, if you could call it that, Israel the Last Stylebender Adesanya. No, that's just a thing, though. Is it really a nemesis? He's beaten him 4 times. I love Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is my #1 favorite fighter, in case you guys weren't aware. But everything we've seen from these two, it just seems like Alex has his number. Israel Adesanya could win the entire fight, be up 5-0 on the scorecards, and the very last 30 seconds, Periera will knock him out. That's what I'm convinced what will happen. I hope it doesn't. Like, love or hate Israel Adesanya, everyone loves to watch these two fight. So you know what needs to happen here? We need Israel Adesanya to win. Regardless if you like Poatan, regardless. You want to see him fight. You want to see him fight this guy. So we need Israel Adesanya to win to get the trilogy, but I don't know if it'll happen. I'm not too sure. I might be leaning towards Periera from what I've seen from these fights. Oh well, regardless, this is a rematch we've been waiting for. This is exciting. We don't see any, like, a lot of people are wanting Periera to move up to light heavyweight. I think he needs to do more middleweight. He needs to cement himself as truly the best middleweight, because honestly, I still feel a guy like Hamza Chimaev at middleweight, unranked fighter, and also I feel like Robert the Reaper Whittaker honestly will take him out and can't take him out. Regardless, while it was predictable, this card is good. They did not skimp on this card, not at all. Like, there's so much name value on it. I didn't even go Michelle Waterson's on it, Cynthia Calvillo's on it, but I went over the main things, which is Gaslam Curtis, Gerald Mershart, Joe Pyfer, Rob Font, Adrian Yanez, Rob Rosas Jr., Christian Rodriguez, Kevin Holland, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal, Alex Periera, Israel Adesanya. There's literally, it's all name value. It's all like names. Like, the lowest names on here is Christian Rodriguez. But oh my god, that is a stacked card. I love it. Oh, this has been your boy Gomi. I am extremely looking forward to this card. Honestly, this is the only thing that's going to keep me getting through work each day, just waiting for this card. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow for more MMA news. This has been your boy Gomi. Bye-bye.